This video will demonstrate how to use the Synergy Weekly Engagement screen. During distance learning, regardless of the method of instruction, teachers will continue to take traditional attendance via either the chart or the list as usual. Previously, the class check-in screen was used in addition to traditional attendance in order to input any students who were marked absent from the Zoom meeting but ended up turning in asynchronous work later that day. Now, instead of the class check-in screen, a new screen called Weekly Engagement will be used instead. As mandated by the California Department of Education under SB 98, teachers must submit a weekly engagement log of daily student participation. Here is a copy of the template created by the CDE. As you can see in this template, there are two sections: weekly assignments and daily participation. The weekly assignments page is a summary of the assignments and/or assessments the teacher issued and the instructional delivery method for the specific class, whereas the daily participation sheet is student-specific. Teachers will be entering this information using a new screen in TView. The weekly engagement screen will assist teachers in electronically filling out the form. It can be accessed from the Home menu. Use the drop-down to select the proper class period. Use the arrows to scroll to the desired week. The screen will display two tabs, Weekly Assignments and Daily Participation, similar to the report issued by the CDE. Begin by completing the Weekly Assignments tab. By clicking on the Load Weekly Assignment Data button, this will automatically block out any non-instructional days. So if the class only meets on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, then the non-instructional days will automatically be selected. A summary field is available to type in assignments or assessments given. A quick assignment description must be entered here for any full or partial asynchronous days. Next, complete the method of instruction for each day of the week. For example, if this class period of students, period 2, met in person on Monday, then in-person full day would be selected. Partial day in person would apply to certain hybrid models. The next section is for video or online synchronous. So if the students are participating in distance learning where the teacher is teaching them online and students are participating synchronously at home, then this section would be selected. For example, if the teacher spent the entire period teaching synchronously on Wednesday, then full day would be selected. If the teacher spent a portion of the period teaching synchronously and then assigned independent work for the rest of the period, then partial day online synchronous and partial day asynchronous would be selected. The assignment summary must also be completed in this example since students engaged in asynchronous learning. Full day asynchronous would be selected if the students engaged in independent or asynchronous work for the entire class period. And since it was asynchronous, a quick assignment summary must be completed. Once the instructional delivery methods have been completed for the week, click Save. Next, navigate to the Daily Participation tab. Select the desired week, then click the Load Daily Participation Data button. Notice that many of the fields have been automatically populated, and the non-instructional days that were selected on the Weekly Assignments tab have been blocked out. Use the legend to determine the meaning of each field. The 100 code is to be used if the student is absent. This field will automatically populate based on the attendance entered by the teacher on the traditional attendance screen. For example, Angela Angel was marked absent on Monday on the traditional attendance screen. Therefore, the 100 code is automatically populated to show the student was absent. The 200 code will populate based on any in-person instructional delivery types that were selected on the Weekly Assignments tab. For example, in-person was selected for Monday, so any student that was present on the traditional attendance screen will automatically have the 200 field populated. The 300 code represents student or parent-guardian contact. This field will be populated for any student that was marked present on the traditional attendance screen, regardless of which method of instruction was selected on the Weekly Assignments tab. As long as the student was not marked absent, the 300 code will be populated. If in person was selected on the Weekly Assignments tab, then all students that were present will automatically receive both a 200 and a 300 code. 200 for being in person, and 300 because anyone who was in person means there was student contact by default. If online or asynchronous was selected, then all students that were present will automatically receive just a 300 code. The 400 code is for assigned work submitted or assessment completed. This field will not be populated automatically and needs to be selected manually. However, this only needs to be done if a student is marked absent from class, but then later submits asynchronous work that same day. For example, if Angela did not attend the class meeting, she would be marked absent on the traditional attendance screen. Then, if she ended up turning in asynchronous work later that night, the 400 code would be manually added for her. Another example of when a manual change might be made to the codes is if a student didn't attend the class meeting, but then the parent later contacted the teacher to let them know that the student didn't attend because they had a technical issue. For example, if Carlos didn't attend the class meeting on Wednesday, he would be marked absent. But if the parent contacted the teacher and let them know that their internet went out, then the 300 code can be added for that student because parent contact was made. Now, this student or parent contact code is actually very specific. It's only to be used with distance learning related issues. For example, if the internet went out, or the student was unable to log in, or if the student was unable to attend due to scheduling issues with the parents or family, situations that are specific to the special 2021 distance learning model. If the parent contacted the teacher to let them know that the student was ill or on vacation or attending a doctor's appointment, then the 300 code will not be used. Absence issues that apply to a regular non-COVID school year will still be reported from the teacher to the office staff in the same manner as in years past. Each school has had their own process for teachers to report these types of absences to the front office, and that will remain the same whether the teachers send an email to the attendance clerk, complete a Google form, or whatever process the school has in place. The 300 code is reserved for distance learning or hybrid learning attendance issues only. Okay, let's look at a few more examples. David was absent from class on Friday, but then the parent contacted the teacher to report technical difficulties, so he gets a 300 code. But then David was able to log on later that evening and complete the work that was assigned for that day, so he gets a 400 code. Please note, whenever the Load Daily Participation Data button is clicked, it will wipe out or erase any manual changes that were made for the entire week. So it's advised to click the button first before making any manual changes. There is a Load Data button at the top of every column that can be used to just reload the attendance for that day. It will still wipe out any manual changes, but only for that one day rather than for the entire week. The last code is 500, Other. This field is not currently being used and can be ignored. Okay, so let's recap. Start from the Weekly Assignments tab, load the data, and select the instructional delivery methods for the week, then save. Next, go to the Daily Participation tab. Load the data and manually enter any special situations. This student was absent, but turned in asynchronous work. This student was absent, but parent reported technical difficulties. This student was absent, but the parent reported technical difficulties, and then the student ended up turning in their work later that night. Be sure to save often. Once the week has been completed and all entries have been saved, click the Generate Report button. If there's more than one section assigned to that period, in this example, Group A and Group B, there will be 2 Accept buttons to click. Next, type your name, then click Submit. The report will display and can be printed if desired. If any changes need to be made after the report has been generated, the school office will need to unlock the report. Then changes can be made and the report can be generated again. These reports are due by the end of the day on the Monday following the week. That way, if students turn in asynchronous work late night on Friday night, teachers are able to update the codes on the following Monday, then submit the reports. Email reminders will be sent by school office staff for any missing reports each week. To return to the weekly engagement screen, close the report window. Change to the next class period, and complete the weekly assignments and daily participation tabs, and then generate the report. Continue to repeat the process until all class periods are complete. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video on the Synergy Weekly Engagement screen.